Good afternoon, all. Let us start the afternoon session. Our guest will be joining soon with us. Let me take the privilege of introducing our chief guest for this session, Dr. Surajit Debnath. Dr. Debnath currently is the head Department of Medical Laboratory Technology, Women's Polytechnic, Tripura, with more than 13 years of experience in biomedical research and high-level teaching. Dr. Debnath participated in various academic work in institutions of Germany, Denmark, and Hong Kong, besides in premier Indian labs such as AIIMS, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Guwahati, and NBPGR. Dr. Debnath is the recipient of Young Scientist Award from different agencies such as DBT, GST, and CSIR. He is a recipient of Tata Trust grant for CME course in Royal College of Pathologists, London. He is a reviewer of several Scopus SCA Index journals published by Elsevier, Springer, and Biomed Center. Along with the regular academic activities, he is also engaged with several biotechnology companies in northern and western India as a consultant. He have conducted various workshops and talks, acted as session chairs in international conferences sponsored by national and international academic agencies. He delivered numerous invited talks in national and international academic gatherings. Currently, he is guiding a group of international students for their internship from Russia, Turkey, and West African countries. Dr. Debnath filed 2 patents in 2020-21 in India on biotechnology. I feel very honored to invite our chief guest today. Our chief guest will be joining with us soon. I request the participants to please stay online. Within a minute or two, we will start the session after our chief guest joins. Good afternoon, sir. Surajit, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Surajit, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good afternoon. So I'll start right away. Give me the credentials so that I can share my screen.
Yes, sir. I have made you as the co-host, sir. We welcome, sir. Just now we are done with your introduction, sir.
Just 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The screen is visible, I hope.
Yes, sir. The screen is visible.
Okay. So let me, because all of us are teachers, participants, as well as speakers. So I apologize that due to a compatibility issue, because I have subscribed to a particular kind of plan, and here it is taking place in Zoom, and therefore there was a compatibility issue. But I hope that during the presentation there will be not much problem. I'll definitely give it a try that due to this compromise, the whole session do not get suffered. So thank you for inviting me. So we'll be talking about the intellectual property in a more applicable way, where through the eyes of a biomedical scientist, and what is his what are the experiences during that, all other technical issues, how to go for it, what are the different technical aspects. I hope all of you have already been gone through, and we'll be going through in coming sessions with other respective faculties. So we'll not be very much technical on the process, but I'll just share my experience with you all, and I sincerely do hope that it will have some benefit for all of us and all of the participants as well. So what happens is, innovation, as you know, is the sole driving force that propels the society towards the superior form. Now, this is the main objective of writing a patent application of any kind of innovator who is. There are some aspects like it is an obligation for scientists to generate intellectual property in the form of papers as well as patents in order to get promoted to a certain extent. That is absolutely true, and there is no denying on that. But other than this also, the process of innovation, which is also a very much enjoyable journey for the innovators. So it may happen that it may not be a innovation which worth a million. It may not be, but if it is a bit of innovation which solves certain kind of problem and helps people or in the society, it do have the potential to go for the whole process of patent application filing and things like that. There are professional help available, as everyone knows. who charges a particular fees, and on the basis of that they will provide it. But they cannot ensure this thing, the nobility behind this. So the role of the innovator is only to innovate and make his statement so strong that the attorney can properly draft the whole thing and do the necessary things. I'm talking only about myself, which I did, and I'll be sharing my experience only. So one more important thing is, as you all the teachers are here, they will definitely this thing that there has been a rapid change in recent times, where the teachers are mainly the AICT teachers are expected to be superhumans. They need to teach, they need to innovate. At the same time, they should also do the startup things and ensure that their students are being employed, or otherwise they become entrepreneurs all by themselves. So in entrepreneurship as well, the patent, the having a intellectual property makes your the journey of entrepreneurship also very shall I say, not very I will not say comfortable, but you will have definitely an edge if you are having a particular intellectual property in the form of patent, as well as what do you call is the publications as well. So this is definitely for example, as you can as you can see, if there is a product in the market which has been which is having a particular mark of a particular lab, which have already tested it and things like that, so it becomes more reliable to the patients, as well as all kinds. So I am talking about patients because I am from biomedical. It is a true for all kinds of industries. So here also, you know that today there is a rapid change and outcome based education, which specifically mentions that students will learn to innovate. I'll show you a particular reverse or revised Bloom taxonomy, this thing where on top there is to innovate or to create something. So in order to put this creativity into the students, teachers themselves should be motivated enough. There are many other things, as you know. I'll not discuss much about. So here you see. Okay, so here you see that the in Bloom's taxonomy, which we already are aware of. So what is happening is there is remembering a substantial part, then there is another part of understanding, then applying, then analyzing, evaluating, and finally creating. Now, when we are talking about creating, it should have a proper foundation of understanding, remembering, and all such things. And subsequently, the student will be able to create something. Now, creation is nothing, is not that the all on a sudden the student will able to create a whole new kind of equipment or material. It could be a small solution as well. A part of the whole process, a small improvement is also creating. So there is one more thing, as you can see here, that now how do we assess? I'll be speaking just one after 5 minutes.
Sir, we are unable to hear you, sir. Sir, am I audible, sir?
So what has happened is the when we see, am I audible, madam?
Sir, now
Hello, madam.
you are audible, sir. Yes, we can hear
Fine,
you. Sir.
fine. So what has happened is when we see the levels of learning, we see that creating is also there, which is assessed through many things like course projects, mini projects, minor projects, and things like that. What are these? What was a previous classical example of a project was simply copying some other work and making a review kind of thing, and they used to call it as a project. But today what will have is, after like within 5 years it will be there that the trend is such that the teachers will be compelled to publish their projects as well, and the project should be approved by some kind of external agencies. That to undertake a certain project is valuable, whether it is needed at all or not, or only it is a waste of public money, that will be also be monitored by somebody, and then eventually you will able to complete the project and start the project with the students. Because while doing the project also there are some kind of investments. It may not be directly financial investment by the government, but the hours that are spent in the lab and many other things are there. So government may ask for a justification that why exactly a particular project is being taken. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is there is a significant need that the teaching fraternity reworks again that which kind of projects should be given and which kind of project should be undertaken. And there are ample possibility that the projects themselves can end up with a particular intellectual property in the form of a patent or a paper. So what happens is, in the present day context, conventional learning should be aligned with entrepreneurship, because today's challenge is to convert the job seeker graduate to a job creator graduate. So these are the background information that we are already having. So this paradigm shift is expected to be brought about by the teachers themselves, and therefore we are all joined in this kind of session. So here one more important aspect that I would like to focus on. Okay, here if you see that recently there has been some data that how much amount of patent and publications are being produced year by year through AICT institutes. Now you will see that there is a improvement in the number of patents that are being filed from AICT approved institutions. So it is very much clear that the people are very much concerned, and they know how to what is the use of an intellectual property in the form of patent, and everybody is working towards it. So this is also a statistics which has been taken from AICT only. AICT approved institutions, faculty publications and patents. Now in terms of faculty. So it also shows that most of the faculties are already engaged in this kind of intellectual activity. So because, and one more thing is that recently it has also been this thing, the startup thing, that there will be a startup incubation center in each and every institute, and teachers should contribute significantly to build a successful startup. So the major paradigm shift that are being taking place. Why? Because we are considering the stakeholders to a significant extent. Now in an institute, who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are the industry, the external agencies who are funding the institute, then the common people who are living in the periphery. So what happens is, when there is a significant thought about the stakeholders, then the focus of the institute also becomes to solve or to create solutions that will solve existing problem in the within the stakeholders concern. So for example, my institute is in rural India, very much rural. So I should be focused on creating some kind of solution which will create some good impact, if not a large but very small, towards the rural people. So teachers are expected to do this kind of work where some kind of improvement in the quality of life will be there. So here there are some specifications. This particular page is taken from the SAR application, which is a field for the NBA approval of process of an institute. Here also they have mentioned, several pages are there, where they have mentioned that there is a significant need of that you produce intellectual property in good amount, either in the form of papers or in the form of patents. So if we talk about the whole process of innovation, it can be divided into these some steps. Now these steps has been developed by Stanford University, which says that in order to do a significant amount of innovation, these are the common steps. First, one need to empathize. Now empathize is nothing but to finding out the kind of intervention that is needed, or it is more simply what are the problems which are being faced by the people. So this is to empathize. If you empathize properly through various means, there are today various kinds of means through which you can understand the mood of the this thing and the people, and then accordingly try. So once you have identified a problem, your journey is half done, or your job is half done, and then subsequently you move into a phase where you want to define the problem that you have identified, or you will brush up all your, or you will kind of noise reduction, kind of so much of noise will be there in the raw data, and subsequently what you will do is you will reduce the noise and to understand that what exactly the population is wanting. That is the define phase. Then there is ideation phase, where you will try to find what are the different possible solutions that you can generate, and what are the possible abilities, what are your limitations, everything. Ideation process involves all other things, and subsequently you design a prototype. Now once you design a prototype, the next thing is to how you will test your prototype, and subsequently you go for a testing phase, and then subsequently your product is developed. Now this is the common this thing, and which has been very much famous throughout the world, the specific steps that are involved in ideation. Now here this is a classical example of a Italian university case, where there were some university which was very much reluctant to any kind of change. Now what are the scenario a university can face, or this is more very much can be at par with the situation of a society also. So here you see, initially the university was in static phase, that is internally static, and outside environment, that means the outsiders also were stable. External means the outsiders or the stakeholders, which are not directly involved in the institute, but they do have many things to do away with the institute. So initial phase C, where the university is also static, it is not moving and doing the regular activity as it does, and the environment is also stable. Nobody is asking them nothing. Simply it is going on. Now, if you see the dotted line, now dotted line is the phase where it will lead ultimately. So the phase C will get converted into phase D, where the university or the institute is still static internally, but outside there is no more static, and it has become turbulent. Why? Because it has been fed up with the solutions that the university is providing, and therefore there has been rapid turbulence. So in order to avoid the situation D, what the university can do? So the university C can jump into the phase B, where it has changed its outlook and made some internal adjustment, and it has become dynamic all by itself. So when it is making this kind of arrangements also, the turbulence is still there, and the environment is still turbulent. The outsiders are asking so many questions, but it is continuously improving itself. So finally, it will reach into a phase where everything will be okay. As you can see, the internally that is dynamic, and the this thing in the external environment will become settled down, and it will become stable. So this is a classical scenario which has been studied by many educationists, where there is a where it has been empathized that there is a significant need to do restructuring of curriculum and so many other things. So so what exactly a patent should have? There should have some unique things. These unique things may not be very big, but there should be something which is very much unique to them. The industry says that there should be patents, trademarks, trade secrecy, copyrights, design rights, first mover advantages, so many things in a business perspective. So we have to also learn all these tricks, because in order to survive ourselves as a educational institutions, as faculties themselves, ourselves, because one day it will come that the institutes will be expected to generate their own revenue. Now private institutes already doing it, but it will be expected in a different order, not by putting only students and enrolling students. You need also have to generate an industry. That means you will train the students in your this thing, and they'll directly enter into the industry. And the industry and the institute will be governed by a single governing body. So, so what will happen is whatever the profit will come from the industry, it will be invested in the institute, and the institute will run. So near future, it may happen that things are being done in this way. So in what happens is, in order to make the idea, the innovation process much simpler, what we can do is we can simulate several steps. Now, simulation is what? Simulation is nothing but a dry run. The computer science people already are very much aware of it. So this is a particular slide which has been taken from a scenario where we were talking about nanotechnology. But while preparing this particular presentation, I thought that it is not very this thing, and we can definitely able to incorporate the same slide here. So here we were talking about a nanotechnological solution, but for a mechanical engineer, it could be a mechanical problem. For civil engineer, it could be a civil engineering problem. Whatever the problem it could be, if we can develop a simulation pipeline very very neatly without any flaws, it can help immensely in the process of innovation. So what it can do is, in my experience, I would say, for example, I needed to do a wet lab experiment with very costly reagents and materials, like 10 different experiments to come to a particular solution. If I can able to generate a simulation pipeline, so what we can have is, instead of doing 9 wrong experiments, I'll do 4 wrong experiment, and the 5th one will be successful. So this is how it will incorporate so much of economy in your innovation process. Now, I hope that it is true for all kinds of innovators, and those are there in the out there. So this is again a case of a Japanese study who have identified 4 different types of innovation. Very interesting to see. Now, what is the first kind of innovation? Now, this is a product innovation type 1, where what they are doing is they are introducing a new product, redesigning packaging, or significantly changing the appearance of design of your existing products. So this can also be done, product innovation type 1. Now, the problem with product innovation type 1 is there are significant chances that your patent application will be null and void, because it will have some prior art, and it may not be significantly different from the prior art, and you end up with an unsuccessful attempt. It can happen, but it will definitely teach you a lesson. So second one is the product innovation type 2, where your introduction of new product significantly improving your existing product. Here you see significantly improving your existing product, not doing the whole thing all together, but just significantly improving it. Increasing the user friendliness and so many other things. For example, for mechanical people, there is a very common terminology. What they use is kind of one thing they use that I just forgot the terminology, where the user friendliness is much more enhanced. For example, you are designing a chair. So ergonomic design improvement, if you can do for mechanical people, it will also could be a good attempt for going for a application. So subsequently, there are the product innovation type 3, where development of totally new. Now, this is very important, interesting, that there is a totally new product, but based on existing technologies. So this is very interesting, product development type 3 or innovation type 3, where you are completely you are having an entirely whole new product, but your technologies are existing. It is not that you have developed a whole new lot of technology and then you are doing innovation. Now, the product innovation type 4, the most ideal one, is the development a totally new product based on a totally new technology. So you develop a technology, subsequently you develop a product. Now, these are the 4 different types of innovation the Japanese people are looking at. And I thought that I should incorporate this in my talk. Now, there are other things which are, I think, already known to you, but still, since I have given an opportunity, I will discuss benefits of patent registration. Most of you are already aware of it. That creates an asset for you and your enterprise. That helps you in earning from your own innovation. then provides intellectual property right, then safeguards your invention for a time period of 20 years. So this is the futuristic thing. So what they're trying to say is you are contributing something to the this thing, what do you call as contributing something to the what do you call as the your fraternity as well as your community. So this is very important. Now here, if you can see, this is a classical example of if you have not patented your product, but you still have opportunity to contribute significantly to your society. If you can see in the leftmost part of the this thing screen, I am having my this thing what you call is QR code inscribed. If you scan the QR code, you will come to know a lot about me, what exactly I do for a living and all such things. So this QR code has been developed by a Japanese company, which was an innovator of automobiles. That means it was producing automobiles in a large assembly line. Now, what was their problem? Their problem was assembling stuffs, the small equipments that needed to unmute for myself for 2 minutes. Back. I am very much sorry to the participants that I had no scope to this thing. Just I'll just start all over again. Okay. So what happens is, as I have said, that it is not if you want to contribute to your society, a patent is not a must. So I was giving a classical example of this particular inscription, which is called QR code. Now the industry understood the wide applicability of QR code and they did not patented it. Anyone can use this concept for any kind of communication they want. So these are different aspects of it. Intellectual property is not always like dependent on patents, but they do have certain advantages. So there are important things that should be understood. I think all of you already know that non-patentable inventions, considering India, mere rearrangement of known devices, that also cannot be done. Mere discovery of scientific principle, which are already been discovered, are also no use of writing an application. A frivolous invention against the nature of the law. If you are doing it, you'll see it is also a waste of time and energy. Now then, mathematics or business method algorithms. Now algorithms can not also be patented in India. Then plants, animals, therapeutic treatment, these cannot also be patented. For example, you have applied a particular medicine, and then the second medicine, then the third medicine. Now when you see that after applying the third medicine, the disease is cured, you cannot able to simply patent this process, that medicine 1, medicine 2, medicine 3, it will cure the disease. You cannot able to do this. So then agricultural method, horticultural method, and copyrighted work, these are the things that cannot be patented. So going to the next step. So what can be patented in India, important, and as you all already have enough idea about it, novelty, it should have a certain degree of novelty, a completely new thing. Then inventive step, that can also be patented. in between inventive step. Then industrial applications, if there are some specific industrial applications that can also be patented. Then patentable subject matter. This is also important that the subject matters can also be patented. And then the products and processes. This has already been this thing that the products and processes, if they are completely new, you can definitely able to patent it, and you can successfully do the complete granting, and then subsequently able to monetize it even. So monetizing is also very important. So the types of pharmaceutical patents that are available for drugs manufacturers. So here you see product patents, then process patents is also there. For example, remdesivir. All of you know remdesivir is an antiviral agent which was been previously used for Ebola. But subsequently, it has been repurposed. This is called drug repurposing. So repurposed into this thing. What you call is COVID-19 infection. Previously, one more drug, very famous, chloroquine phosphate, which was been discovered for treating malaria, and it was the wonder drug which completely cures malaria. It was been repurposed for this thing, what you call is COVID-19, and after repeated trials, it has been seen that it is of no use. But in the middle, when there was this thing that chloroquine may cure COVID-19 symptoms, then many countries, including USA, was very much frightened that India should supply certain amount of chloroquine to a certain country, and these were the things. So subsequently, it has been seen that it has not been useful, and subsequently it has been cancelled from the treatment regime that is existing today by ICMR. So there are many things that you can do the process patent, but not the process of delivering a drug. It can be delivering a medicine. It can be the fermentation process all by itself, but it cannot be the process of giving the medication. Now, product by process patents, these are also there. There are some different, for example, one addition of a particular functional group into an existing medicine will change into something else. So it can also be patented. Then formulation patent, completely new formulation. So many different ingredients are there in a single capsule. This can also be patented if it is completely new. So these are the different aspects. There are some timelines which should be, just hold on, which is there. I hope that many you have already had this kind of discussions, so I will not put much pressure on them. There are certain timelines. You should wait for a certain amount of time. For example, so after putting the application, there should be a process. Then after certain period only, they'll send you an email that your this thing has been received. So many things are there which already been discussed and will be discussed. This is also a timeline or a dry run that can be done. I'd request the coordinator to switch off the background noise that is there. So what happens is these are the timelines or a particular kind of, for example, establish priority date of the patent application. Then go for the file patent application in India. Then request early publication. Then early publication required or not required. If required, then yes, publish the patent application. Then if no, then publish the patent application in a particular time. Then subsequently, there are many timelines which will be discussed by appropriate faculties for that. So what happens is, one more important thing is your need is the major issue which will propel you to do some kind of innovation. What has happened is my lab is a biomedical lab, as you know. So we were been given a grant by a agency which is known as Barth Syndrome. Okay, now there are genetic mutations that will lead to this heart condition and people will succumb to death. So we are been given an opportunity to investigate that, and while investigating, we were using a lot of genomics data, which was beyond our limit, and we were searching everywhere for some solution. So what happened is, this is the disease scenario. What exactly happens in the disease? That there are certain abnormality in the heart mitochondria. Subsequently, it will degrade the heart muscle and it will get damaged. So in this case, what happens is there is no scope that the patient survives, but if we can understand what exactly happens during this. So during this process, we tried to understand so many things and tried to collaborate. We found that the simulation process is very, very difficult and we were not able to procure the equipments and the softwares that were needed. So after 4 years, recently in 2020-21, we were able to address this particular issue of handling so much of genomics data in a fraction of second, and subsequently we developed the process and filled up the application where the application says that system for rapid and low cost detection of mutation effects in proteins for initial screening. So we have submitted it and we are very much optimistic that it will be given in a proper way. And we have developed a proper workflow, including a particular product, which will give the clinician to understand that what may exactly happen if this particular mutation is there in the scenario. So we have presented this work also in biomedical gatherings, although it is not a classical biomedical gathering, but here. So what happens is this is also a part of our application. So what we did is we completely given all kinds of data that was been needed by the attorney in such a way that our explanation is very much sound, and whatever things were required, we provided it subsequently, and the attorney has done their role, and we are optimistic that things will be soon in given to us. So what happens is today there are capabilities that are being explored day by day, that technology commercialization is a very important aspect. So for example, you have done one innovation and it is not so it is very true that anything that is monetizable is worth making, isn't it? So if you have developed something which you are facing difficulty to monetize, it may happen that it is not serving a great purpose. So it could be the price could be small, but if people are ready to pay the price, it indicates that your solutions are worth it. So what happens is our institutes are being this thing day by day, that we generate intellectual property and then subsequently monetize it. So what has been our journey, that I will also discuss. So previously there was a basic funding mechanism where they will be given funding and it is not been monitored that which kind of solutions you are generated. You submit a project report, which is 105 page, nobody will read it, and subsequently next phase of funding will be there. These days things are a bit different. There are many aspects of it while teaching which kind of project should be initiated, and there are various discussions made by other academicians which indicates that there should be an alignment with the society, which kind of work you are doing. So here also, if you can see that the contribution to community and related projects is been very, very important thing for an NBA application also. For example, these days institutes are expected to generate NBA approval, and NBA looks for it whether you have significant amount of monetizing from your patent or not. So this is again our paper we developed in 2000 and just 1 second, we did it on 2013 I think, or 2017, where we reported a concept, but we carefully avoided discussing the all things. And subsequently what happens is, if you discuss everything in a paper, it may happen that it becomes a prior art of yourself and you end up not getting this thing. So these are our beneficiaries which will subscribe to our product. Initially we will be giving it for free, and subsequently they will become our this thing. This is a particular process through which they will accumulate the raw material, and we will giving them a particular kind of training with a particular equipment which we have designed and submitted for a patent. This is the second patent we are talking about. The first patent was for a genetic disease identification. This second patent is for something else. We will come to this. So here what happens is, initially we will do a kind of this kind of modeling where we will give it for free initially, and subsequently they will become our subscribers. Just 1 second. This is not the product. This is a process where they are procuring raw materials for our preparation, we should be prepared using a particular equipment only. Just give me some time so that it becomes this thing. So the idea is that there should be a solid product behind your thing, behind your patent application, and you should be very much aware that you do not end up with a
Sir, now I made you as host again, sir.
Okay. Now, okay. Now, when we are going to market our product, we are having a backing of published paper. Then we are having a solid background of patent, and we did a proper market survey that which kind of product is needed, and we have done proper monitoring of the survey as well, and and subsequently, we have identified our beneficiaries as well as our future partners who will work for us, and we subsequently put it into a project and send it to IIT Delhi, from where we have received a partial funding also. This is the letter we received. And then after a round of certain discussion, then we have received a partial funding so that we can generate and establish our facility in our institute itself. So there are different aspects of it. We have also collaborated with SMEs, small scale industries, where we are about to convince them to procure our product. They have already shown sufficient interest to us, and they have sent their people for getting the training about our product. This is again some collaboration that we made with some SME which will be benefited through our product and our services, and subsequently they will be our subscribers. So these are the different aspect to it, and R&D plays a major role in developing a patent from an institute, and therefore the R&D establishment which may not require huge amount of investment, but if there are proper ways that the faculties can develop, they can talk with SMEs, and they can talk with big angel investors also, because our work is not very big enough, so we did not spoke to them, but there are institutes who are getting funding from very large organizations, and they are successfully running their institute. In abroad, there are plenty of examples like this. And all of us are already aware of it. For example, Sun Microsystem. Now, Sun Microsystem was developed in Stanford University, which was only looking at the Stanford University networking. So we are talking about during 1980s. So what happened is it is only made by some students only of Stanford University Computer Science. So subsequently, they developed the Sun Microsystem, and today it is one of the biggest player in networking and technologies like this. So there are plenty different examples where institutes have developed this thing. Or this is our second application. This is on a process which there are different aspects of it. For example, you need to brief description of the drawings and every other things you should give. There should be an equipment, a solid thing that should be, which is visible, which can be touched, which can do some function. This is the idea that we got after so much of brainstorming, and I'm giving you the gist. Those who are new, they should understand in a nutshell that if you are writing a patent application, make sure that you have a product that can be felt, that can be touched, and that can be do things. So once you are having these things, then your job is half done, and you can able to what do you call as we can all able to generate intellectual property. One more important thing, we should also search for collaborators as well as like industries which can be initially you can give it for free. So this model is very popular today, as you know. The marketing people have a particular terminology for this kind of business planning, where initially everything will be given for free and subsequently they'll charge money for it. And now all of us are already aware of this kind of services, where initially things are become very much free and subsequently you need to invest your hard-earned money to it. Previously it was not a what we call as a commodity at all, but later on, because you have had an addiction to it or you have used its benefits, I'm not saying that addiction, but you have used its benefits and subsequently it becomes a what we call as it becomes a necessity for you, and you end up with having the thing by its charge also. So this is also a good model. There is no harm in it until and unless it is not hampering anybody's interest. And as a small scale innovator, so we can definitely able to do this. So this was the discussion that I tried to this thing incorporate, but I'm very much sorry that due to some personal emergencies, I could not avoid to interrupt my session. And I'm sure that there are plenty of other resource person who will deal this topic in much more technical way. But I'm sharing my own experience other than expertise, which I have gone through, and what are the small things that I learned. I sincerely hope that it will be of benefit to the participants. By saying so, I'd conclude, and I'll like to have questions. If I'll be also very happy if I can successfully answer them.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Any questions, participants, you can unmute you and just raise your hand. I'll unmute your mic. Or put in the chat box. Hello.
If there are some
Sir,
queries.
how to approach? So one question, sir. How to approach for commercialization of patents? Are there any organizations that help to
Okay.
commercialize?
Okay, great question. and also it has been a learning experience for me. So what happens is you will find different government initiatives which will support to monetize your patent. But what I think is you should be confident enough that which kind of industry you should talk to. Okay, there will be some certain degree of hand holding. There is no doubt in that, because there is an emphasis on innovation from teachers, startup policies, and so many other things that you hear every day and come across every day in internet as well. So, but the thing is, you need to do your thing all by yourself. There may be some technical issues that can be answered, but the background work should be yours. You will be the one who will decide that which kind of industry it can benefit with. You need to speak with the industries. They can only help you to make a bridge, but you are the one who will do all the work. My experience is that it is completely the innovators this thing, because it may happen that whatever the help you are getting, it may have limited use, because they may not able to think about which kind of what is your aspirations and all other things. So you need to invest a lot of energy in terms of all kinds of energy you need to invest, and subsequently you will able to identify which are the channels that through which you can monetize your patents. So this is how I'd like to answer it.
Any more questions, ma'am? Nothing more, sir. Yes. Can you, sir, is it possible for you to switch on the camera, sir?
Switch on the camera. No, I am in a this thing.
Okay, okay, sir.
It will be difficult.
Okay, sir.
One more this thing, that we are very much looking for collaborations, and
Yes, sir.
those some biomedical labs we are looking for. I do not know if it is possible, but I'm very much hopeful that there are certain labs we can collaborate with. And I shall also say that in order to generate a good intellectual property collaboration, there is no harm if you are collaborating in a particular terms. It will be easy to generate patents and as well as publications if there are strong collaborators with you.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
these are the things that I would like to focus on.
yes, sir. Participants, if you switch on the camera, we can go with the group.
Since you have asked and whether it is an auto norms, I'll switch on my camera
Yes, sir.
so that
So you
your
stop
things is not
sharing and
on.
switch on your cameras.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Okay. So, so 1 second, if I do it, is this enough, madam? Shall I switch off?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm not able to see you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. I got it. I got it, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. I thank you, madam, for giving me the opportunity to discuss in this session, and I'm thankful to the institute which have invited me. It was me I had an intention to discuss in this kind of particular session, and thank you, madam, for your
Thank you, sir.
these things, and you have organized an excellent session, madam. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Participants, I have shared the feedback link in the chat box. You can do it even in the group, it will be shared. Okay. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and tomorrow we will have a yoga session, sir, from 2 to 3:30. Okay, 2 to 3:30, you will be having the yoga session, followed by you have to go with the Atal feedback, as well as you have to give the test. So test time, I'll post a test link at 1:30 itself, so you will be able to finish it before 3. Okay, I'll give 2 hours time. So a test link will be posted in the chat box as well as in the GCR. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I think all of you have feedback link has been posted again. If you have any queries, means you can do it. And we'll have a feedback session and we'll have the discussion on all these 5 days tomorrow. Timings, if you say, means because we are in morning, we have our second session is the third session is yoga for us. So I asked your yoga ma'am to finish it off before 3:30. Okay. So we can have a session of thing and you can share the feedback, everything. And you can even share us what are the pros and cons you have met it with. Test time 1:30, I'll put the link. 1:30, I'll be putting the link. So you can answer till 4. I'll be doing with the link. Thank you. Thank you. Try to switch on the cameras tomorrow. The end session will have a group photo which I have to post it to the Atal. So try to switch on with your cameras. So we will have a group photo. Okay. At tomorrow, because tomorrow is the last day of our Atal FTP. So we'll have a group photo tomorrow. So try to switch on with the cameras because only 10 people are switching on with the cameras. In case if it is possible now also you can switch off, madam. Switch on the cameras, ma'am. I'll take it out. Because only few are doing it. I'm not able to see the others. Good. Yes. Okay. Yes, Barun sir, attendance sheet has been shared, sir. Attendance link has been shared in the chat box. Yes, I have taken. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, attendance sheet of day to day 4. Don't worry, ma'am. The last day I'll share the full attendance. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Okay, I end up with the session. Any queries, sir? I'll just go it out. That's all. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think you'd have gone with that thing.